Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, while addressing the India AI Impact Summit 2026, emphasized on the need to democratize artificial intelligence and called for a transparent approach to data sharing. Speaking at the opening of the India AI Impact Summit 2026 at Bharat Mandapam, Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveiled India's Manav vision for AI, which he described as a framework to advance humanity's welfare. He stressed that humans should not be treated as mere data points and that AI must serve as a tool for inclusion and empowerment, particularly for countries in the global south. His address was followed by a family photograph. This is something that has been the talk of the town throughout this morning. Let me in fact go across to Mr. Harish Bijur, who's the founder of Harish Bijur Consults INC. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the broadcast. We appreciate your time. So when we're looking at this AI summit, obviously it's something very historic that India is witnessing, but your first key takeaways from the Prime Minister's speech. He's introduced the Manav vision. He's introducing this concept of humanity in something like artificial intelligence, sir.
Yes, firstly, I think this AI summit has been a big one. It's a march for India. And I think the leadership that's been taken on this has been excellent. So most certainly heartiest compliments to the Prime Minister of this country, Mr. Narendra Modi, who has led this entire summit. Now, when it comes to what he has just spoken, I do believe the time has come for talking about human beings all of a sudden in the words of bits and bytes. It's time to really talk about intelligence which is more real, and therefore real intelligence versus artificial intelligence is what is being addressed. AI is meant to take care of people, and I think AI is meant to be subservient to our people. And I do believe the vision of Manav in this entire thing, and I would actually dub it Manav AI, is really a great thing, because at the end of the day, if you don't look after the human being, who do you look after?
Absolutely. And sir, if I can also get your observations regarding, there have been major announcements at this summit, especially from, global tech leaders who are looking at the global south. They're looking at more investment regarding this AI sector, and in fact in India as well. So how are you looking at those investments that are coming in, that infrastructure that will be pulled into India in AI?
The biggies have all committed a big amount of money. And more important than money, it's the attitude to say that India is a very important center. But the key point I'd like to make on investments is that, the AI cluster is going to be divided into two. It already is. There's one cluster, which is the United States of America, and the other cluster is China. So to an extent, it is, deep seek at one end, if you really look at China, and OpenAI at another, which if you really look at the United States of America. Therefore, in terms of the production clusters, they're clearly divided. The production cluster is in the United States of America. And if you take a look at NVIDIA and its entire valuation, it stems from what it does humongously in the United States of America. NVIDIA at a point of time last year touched a $5 trillion valuation at one end. And simultaneously, DeepSeek in China was a biggie which made waves. So what's really happening is the world is getting cleaved into two. And in the bargain, my key question is, and my key point is, that India must find its footing. India cannot be only an AI consumption market. We need to be an AI production market. And if you want to be a production market, we need to be talking about being in manufacturing in a big, big way. We need to be very big in the data center market. And I think, unless we invest heavily and deeply there, we are going to be a part of either the American cluster or the China cluster. But I don't think that should occur. We should have an India cluster on its own. And to do that, we need proprietary assets created by us and which take us forward. There's a little bit of India in all of AI, but I don't want that little bit. I want a lot more of India within the AI context. And I think that is the dream, that is my fantasy, my personal fantasy for sure.
Absolutely. I think that, sir, that is something that even the Prime Minister is looking forward to, because he's spoken about how the global South should not just be looked at as data points or data bits just for consumption of AI. So before, sir, we let you go off, I want your final observation on democratization of AI, what the Prime Minister spoke about, and also the framework about ethical use of AI.
Democratization of AI is very, very important because it's a dream, but I don't think it's a reality at all. Because AI is congealed into two. And what's really happening in the world today is the world is dividing into the haves and the have-nots. And the haves are those who have AI, and the have-nots are those who are AI illiterate. So this cleaving is actually going to happen. And therefore, my question is, where is the democratization of AI when the world cleaves into two? The world cannot cleave into two. We once again cannot get into the haves and the have-nots kind of a situation. AI, unfortunately, has that tendency to do that. And therefore, we need a larger vision. We need a vision where promoters within AI companies need to say that I need to be a bigger part. We can't be an India inside. We need to be an India outside. India is inside a lot of AI. In fact, every AI development firm has somebody with an Indian surname out there. But that's not enough. Every AI development firm needs to have proprietorship and ownership based out of India. And I think, it should not be a relationship of repatriation of profits. It should be a relationship of owning profits. And that would be true blue democratization of AI.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the broadcast and speaking to NewsX. Let me also introduce some other guests who are joining us on the panel today. Ankit Kedia, founder and lead investor, Capital A, and Celia Dash, who is the founder of Without AI. Thank you so much, sirs, for joining us on the broadcast. We appreciate your time. Let me first go across to Ankit on this. Ankit, we are seeing, sir, this, a new phase of AI growth in India. Obviously, this summit is just something that is going to boost this forward, but we are looking at a larger vision here. The Prime Minister has laid out a vision. There are tech leaders from across the globe who have also come to this platform and given out their vision for what AI may look like in the future. How are you seeing this sector grow, sir?
Thank you so much for having me. One of the things as we keep seeing as investors is that around all the noise that AI today is generating, it's another form of technology, a wave of technology which is cyclic every decade or every 10, 15 years. It was commerce about 15 years ago with the advent of Flipkart and Amazon, and then we had the post 2023 era of chat GPT. As soon as folks started to see the consumer aspect of AI is when the widespread applications started to surface. For example, we keep seeing in manufacturing the use of artificial intelligence. Now, there were always ways and means to throw out data, but outcomes were never ever available for that data to actually translate into something meaningful. And with that happening, I think it can just augment a lot of human intelligence, if not replace human intelligence, but it can actually augment a lot of it. And as investors, sometimes we keep having bias about what kind of what kind of landscape it will create for new age entrepreneurs, startups building in hardware sector. For example, there is migration of a firmware from one chip to another chip. Now, all of that was done manually until 5 years ago. And this actually doesn't need to be done manually. if we are able to do this using AI or using a copilot, you know, the human intelligence can actually be put to some other very different application altogether. So we are seeing this wave of AI coming in, a lot of noise, but I think the enablers, the application layers will come up one by one, and we are truly excited about it.
Absolutely. In fact, let me also rope in Mr. Dash on this. Sir, how are you as well looking at this entire speech by the Prime Minister? Because you are a founder yourself, and the Prime Minister has spoken about, sovereignty of data. He's spoken about jiska data, uska hak. He's said that this should be something that we all should work towards.
Well, firstly, thank you for having me on board. I completely, agree with the Honorable Prime Minister there, because today, if you look at the world scenario, there's a lot of AI development going on, a lot of AI product that is getting created, creations, and a lot of images, a lot of NCII disputes going on. Now, there is no regulation which is very clearly demarcating who is the owner of this data or who is to be held responsible for this. With sovereign AI, and where whose data, the person whose data it is, the person has the right. Things like this make it very stringent. And if you see the latest IT amendment rules, which are getting notified tomorrow, which are getting in fact coming to force tomorrow, these make it very clear, and they're in line with what the Prime Minister has said. The whole Manav framework also supports this, and these guidelines will make it very clear what are the obligations of creators, the social media platforms, how AI content has to be specifically self-declared. There has to be specific tagging, and what happens if these are not complied with. How there is a safe harbor, status that gets lost, and how the regulations will, adjudicate the issues. So a lot of new things have come up, and I think we are in the right direction. In fact, I would actually say that we are moving from being a global back office for tech to a global AI playground. We are actually focusing more on equity, human-centric approach, which is where we will be able to make a difference for ourselves as a country. The whole comparison between China and US, India will make a separate mark with human-centric approach, being able to make context-aware AI products. So I think we are moving in that direction.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the broadcast. I thank